If you have been following my channel, I have been covering the Jonathan Majors story, primarily because I don't want y'all to be misinformed. Similar to the whole Jamie Foxx back and forth thing, I want y'all to actually have a more informed opinion before jumping to any conclusions. Right now on my channel, you can go visit. I have 2 videos where I break down the reporting. And again, it's very important to understand the difference between how things are reported, where they're coming from, and what's actually a fact that we know, because then we can again have more informed opinions. Now, just a quick rundown. Jonathan Majors about a month ago got into an altercation with a woman in a Uber or taxi car or whatever. And there are different sides to the story, right? Like what was reported is one side of the story. But the thing is, again, and I have to emphasize this, what was reported a month ago is not the official story. It's just how the information was given to us. But people have taken that and said that's what actually happened. No, that we don't know what actually happened. We just have little tidbits of information of what happened. Then, even when I sat here and I reported to y'all what the lawyer said, again, that's just what the lawyer said on their side. The lawyer had all this evidence. The lawyer had these text messages, had all this video. Some of that stuff has come out, but all of it has not. Again, go visit my video. I give you a full breakdown of that. But in this whole taxi cab situation, some sort of domestic violence situation occurred. Maybe Jonathan Majors was assaulted. Maybe Jonathan Majors assaulted this woman. We don't really know. It's a he said, she said type of thing right now. There's supposedly evidence from the camera in the car. Supposedly, according to Jonathan Majors' lawyer, the driver will testify or can testify that Jonathan Majors did absolutely nothing wrong. There's additional video evidence that what the victim said, the alleged victim, what they said doesn't match what the video shows. Keep that in mind. Again, the lawyer is saying that they have evidence that does not support what the victim's claims are. Okay, keep that point in mind. Now, again, in my other video, I've gone through the text messages and all the different pieces of evidence, so you can go check that out if you want more information. So right now, we've also seen that Jonathan Majors has been dropped by his label or his PR people, his management. He's lost ads. He's lost a lot of different roles because a lot of people are distancing themselves from him, and nothing has actually fallen through yet. We've also had a report from Variety that said that other alleged victims of Jonathan Majors have come forward. We don't know what that means. I speculated that maybe that means they might act as character witnesses for the DA, or maybe they might come with additional separate claims or suits. We don't know. Again, for some people that don't, that might have missed it, the alleged victim recanted her statement, recanted the charges, right? The alleged victim was like, nah, I don't want to press charges, but that does not matter. The DA of New York said, nah, we coming after Jonathan Majors because we have enough evidence to support that Jonathan Majors did something wrong here, that Jonathan Majors assaulted this woman. So again, it doesn't matter if the witness recant or if the alleged victim recants their statement. It does not matter. I've given you guys this example. It's like when you go to school and you see a little kid that got bruises on their face. It doesn't matter if the little kid says it wasn't mommy or daddy. Guess what? The school has an obligation to go send them peoples, okay, the social workers, child protective services, to the house to do whatever they got to do. This is a very similar situation. The police and the DA, they believe that they have enough information, evidence, maybe even testimony to keep pressing charges on Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors' lawyer says, nah, we got enough evidence where you should just drop all of this because it's just ridiculous. Now, Jonathan Majors appeared in court, to do this. And this is where we're getting our update right now. And unfortunately, it is saying right now that Jonathan Majors could be facing a witch hunt, according to his lawyer, due to this domestic violence case. And we do have the fact that he is going to be back in court next month. So let's go through it just detail by detail so we can get this. I want to make sure y'all know what's going on. So it says here that Jonathan Majors could be in prison for up to a year if he's found guilty of a charge unveiled this morning in his domestic violence case. The actor's attorney slammed the proceedings as a byproduct of the racial bias that permeates the criminal justice system. Now, he appeared via Zoom. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office makes a public and superseding complaint with a charge of third-degree assault. The Class A misdemeanor has a maximum possible sentence of a year behind bars or a 3-year probationary term. Let's see. This is according to his lawyer. We have provided the district attorney with irrefutable evidence that the woman is lying, including video proof showing nothing happened, especially not where she claimed it happened. We did this with the explicit promise from the DA that they would not fix their case and change it as we proved the woman is lying. Now I'm going to keep going before we go into this. She says here that this is a witch hunt against Jonathan Majors, driven by baseless claims. There's a glaring double standard. Instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of the woman's clear lies, the DA has adjusted the charges to match the woman's new lies. To be clear, there are no new charges against Mr. Majors. Okay, this is a new development here, right? And again, this is according to the lawyer. We haven't heard from the DA yet, right? We don't know all the evidence that the DA even has. But the Jonathan Majors lawyer is like, look, we told the DA we're going to give him all this evidence because the alleged victim claimed, let's just say, claimed A, right? The victim said A happened. And when the lawyer said, oh, you said A happened? All right, cool. I'm going to give you this video evidence and all this other stuff that says A did not happen. So now what's happening and what the lawyer is saying is that the DA is changing the story. Like, nah, A didn't happen. It was actually B that happened. So just a slight pivot. It just went from A to B. So now the DA, the Jonathan Majors lawyer is like, yo, you can't just, like, you said that A happened and we have evidence that A didn't happen, but now you changing your story to B. Interesting. And again, the lawyer's emphasizing that these are not new charges. It's just altered charges. Now let's kind of go into more detail, again, according to the lawyer, what that actually means. It says, without providing any details, the lawyer said, now we have obtained even more video evidence of Jonathan Majors' innocence, but we are hesitant to share it for fear of the DA will tip the alleged victim off to change her story again. So for a lot of you that have been wondering, why don't they drop the evidence? Why don't they drop the video? Why don't they just do that? The lawyer just said they are afraid that if they drop this stuff, it's going to make the DA have the alleged victim change their story to fit their case. I am not a lawyer. I don't know how that works. I don't know the legality, the ins and outs of that. But if that is the case, I can understand why Jonathan Major's lawyer doesn't want to come forward with all the evidence. If you're just gonna keep moving the goalposts, allegedly, I wouldn't want to share no information either. Like, I want to make sure that, like, yo, if you say it's B, stick with that so we can defend against B. Don't go changing the story, because if you do, that's not going to be fair. So again, I don't know what the DA has. I don't know what the DA has said, but this is all according to the lawyer right now. She goes on to say the criminal justice system is saturated with explicit and implicit bias. When Mr. Major showed a white police officer the injuries the woman caused him. So again, this is what he's claiming. When Mr. Major showed a white police officer the injuries that the woman caused him, the white officer got in Mr. Major's face and taunted him, saying that if the officer were to slap Mr. Majors, the officer wouldn't break his finger. None of the white officers present investigated the assault of Mr. Majors. Worse, the DA has not indicated any intention to pursue charges against the woman or even investigate the truth. Whoa. Okay. So, for context, the alleged victim here, in case you didn't know, she is white. So the lawyer is saying, hey, there's some bias going on here. All these officers were white. They taunting Jonathan Majors. They acting like, oh yeah, how's this little woman gonna sit here and hurt you? You know, you a big old strong black man. Why? You know, they didn't say that, but they're taunting him, according to the lawyer. And you know, let's also not forget Jonathan Majors, and this is cited by the police, by the way. He's the one that called the police. He's the one that called 911. So what the lawyer is basically saying here is like, there's bias here because you showed up on the scene, and according to her, you saw this black man, you saw this white woman, and even though the black man called the police and said that he was assaulted, y'all didn't even bother looking into that. Y'all didn't even bother investigating that. So I'm going to admit, when I first heard about the racial bias and stuff from the lawyer, I was like, oh man, you pulling out the race card this early? For real? But again, we don't know all the details. This is the first time I'm hearing supposedly that the officers were taunting Mr. Majors. For real? Like, that's not okay. You know, when you're a police officer and you come onto the scene, you have to get as much information as possible. You know, like, okay, if she got some bruises on her, sure, take her statement and all that. If he's been assaulted or whatever, guess what? Take his statement too. You gotta get all. You need to get down to the truth, right? Yeah, there's more. Let's get to this more. What is on public record is a complaint from the DA's office on Majors on March 25th striking the woman about the face with an open hand, causing substantial pain and a laceration behind her ear. Okay, so later on, the NYPD called that a domestic dispute. Majors allegedly, according to them, allegedly forcefully took the woman's hand, causing swelling, bruising, and substantial pain to her finger, and supposedly put his hand on her neck. That's what they said, right? That's what's on record. In the superseding information submitted today, the neck reference, again, putting his hand on her neck, the neck reference was gone, but the DA's paperwork now also said, I further observed the defendant grab my arm, place it behind my body, and use his hands to twist my right forearm and right middle finger, causing substantial pain to my right forearm and right middle finger. But what happened to the neck? Because I remember when it was reported that there were bruises on the neck or markings on the neck, and I'm like, well, that's not a good look. Why isn't the hands on the neck? Why isn't that part of the claim now? Is that the shift that the lawyer's talking about? That looks kind of suspect to me. I'm just saying, like, from an outsider, non-legal perspective, that looks a little suspect. So did he put his hands on her neck or not? I think that needs to be substantiated, but apparently that's not on the record at this point. It has been confirmed by law enforcement that it was Mr. Majors who called 911 the night of the incident. Like today, the lawyer has previously criticized the NYPD officers on the scene that night at Majors' apartment. The lawyer claims that the cops were coaching the alleged victim to accuse Mr. Majors of assault, even pantomiming what she should say. Yikes. Again, that's what the lawyer is saying that happened. But all I know is this. The DA has to prove their case. You know, people are not proven innocent. They are proven guilty. I don't know if Jonathan Majors did anything. I hope he didn't do anything. I hope not. But if what the lawyer is saying is the case, I mean, that's some shady stuff for the DA to do if that's true. I mean, I would hope that if the DA has such compelling evidence that they don't have to do such maneuvers. I don't know if that's standard practice or not. If some of y'all lawyers or prosecutors, please let me know. Is it standard procedure to maybe kind of sort of change the information a little, to change the claim? I don't know. Again, that's what the defense is claiming happened. But Jonathan Majors is supposed to appear in court. I don't have the dates here, but I think it said something like the prosecution has until the 17th to put forward some information. Then the defense has like till the 25th to have it, or maybe it's the other way around. Basically, they got a week or so to put forth more information and submit it to the court. And then after that, whoever puts that information out, the opposing side has to react. But one way or another, Jonathan Majors is going to have to go back into court in June. And, you know, again, one of the reasons why I do have to cover this is because it does impact the fact of Marvel, right? Like, is he going to be Kang the Conqueror? And right now, Marvel's quiet. They have had talks, according to other reports. Marvel and Jonathan Majors have had talks about this already, but nothing has happened. Marvel has been quiet. There's no official word from them. Now, one of the reasons why I believe there's no official word is because the alleged victim was working on Ant-Man 3 that Jonathan Majors was also a part of. So at this point, Marvel can't pick sides. If they pick the side of the woman, it's kind of like, well, what you doing to your actors? Well, if they pick the side of the actor, well, what you doing to your cast and crew? It's a problem. It's a problem. So I do believe that right now Marvel is in the best position to just be quiet. Just be quiet. You don't have all the information, you know, or maybe they do. I don't know. But you do want to let this play out. And Marvel has time. He already shot Loki season 2. So that's already in the bag. Kang the Conqueror, the character, could he be recast? Absolutely. Very easily. Shoot, I'm on board with getting Chuck Woody, you know, dude that played the High Evolutionary. Just make him a Kang variant. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I've said for a long time that I'm cool with, I think the best person to play Kang, if they had to recast, would be John Boyega. Because I think a lot of people have to realize that the character of Kang the Conqueror, you have to have somebody that can really act and has a lot of range. That's why Jonathan Majors was a perfect fit for this, because the brother can act. Now, in an ideal world, I hope he's innocent of this stuff. I hope he didn't put his hands on no woman, because that should never be tolerated. I hope he didn't do that. And I hope he remains as Kang the Conqueror. And I hope that all the people, if he's found innocent, that dropped him, pick him back up. I want him, you know, like, I need my man to get right back where he left off, because it should never be the case that an allegation should like ruin your whole life, especially if you're found innocent. And on the flip side, if he did do something bogus, let justice prevail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to, just cape for anybody on any side. I'm like, look, I want the truth. Whatever happens with the truth, let justice fall where it falls. Anyway, that's all we have for the update for Jonathan Majors. Y'all let me know, how do you feel about the lawyer's accusation of racial discrimination or bias here? Let's not pretend that there hasn't been racial, bias in the legal system. Let's not pretend that cops don't lie. But at the same time, let's not pretend that, domestic violence situations are problematic. They are messy. Everyone ain't a saint. We don't know the whole truth either. So either way, y'all let me know what you think based off of what we know now in the comments down below.
Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.